Hi, my name is Amir Walford, and I'll be your guys' coding instructor. You guys can call me Amir instead of Mr. Walford since I'm not like finna be 40 next year or anything. So I got something I really want to show y'all though. Like as y'all coding instructor and this be my first day, I'm kind of excited. Y'all want to see it? I'm just playing. You guys had no choice. But with me as your coding instructor, we're gonna be just playing a lot. So when I'm being for real, I'll say for realsies. So for realsies, let's get straight into it. Here we have the project. The goal is just to get to the home. If you crash into the cars like you see me doing several times here, that's going to reset you. But once you get to the house, that'll also reset you. Crash into a light pole, that reset you. And if you fall off the edge, that will also reset you. So let's talk about how we use some of the mechanics in this game and how we got this game to look how it looks. Okay, so one of the first things you're gonna need to get your game looking like how I got my game looking is the Unity asset store. It is going to be a lifesaver. So if you're making a game and you just don't have the art skills, the music skills, or whether even sometimes the tool coding skills, there's so much assets and different things you can get on the store. Just come here, get acclimated, see what they have to offer. So, but let's talk about how we get signed up and started with the Unity asset store. So first, we're gonna want to sign in because you're going to need to sign into your account and it's going to link over to Unity and your account on there. So first we'll start by signing in. After you logged in, there's a few assets you're going to want to look up. Since I already have them, there's no need for me to look them up, but I can show them to you within my assets already. So you could get the names and just know the names that you need to look up. One asset that was super helpful to me was the city package and the paper card package. These two packages were the most used packages that I used. So once again, this is called the city package. Get it here. And this one is called the paper car free edition package. You get that package. Go ahead and pick up both of those and I'll meet you guys back in Unity. So now that we've downloaded our assets, what we're gonna want to do is sign into our Unity account on within the Unity editor. That way we can link our purchases to the Unity editor. To do that, we'll need to sign into our account. So we'll go to the Unity hub and we'll go to the icon in the top left corner. We'll press on the drop down menu and we'll just simply sign in. After that, we'll be signed in and will be signed in within the Unity editor. If that doesn't work, you may need to close down your browser completely and then try to sign in again, and then that should fix your issue. Now that once we have signed in, we're gonna want to go to our package manager, and then we're gonna go to my assets in the drop down menu up here. After we go to my assets from here, this is where we can find the assets that we purchased within the Unity store. So we use the city package as well as the paper car package. We'll download and import both of those into our scene down here in the bottom right corner, and then we'll be able to use them. Once we import them, they'll show up in our project folder underneath assets. We'll see the paper world for the paper car. We could click this folder, then click prefabs, then click paper car once more, and then we have the cars that I used in various different locations throughout the level. And then we can also go to Polygon City Pack, and then we go to the prefabs and go to floor, and we can find the street material I used. All I did was rotate it 90 degrees, and then I would move it along the X and the Z axis to where I needed them placed at. So now let's talk about the script used to make this game run. The script that I used in this game were only three scripts: the player collider script, the movement script, and the game manager script. The player collision script tracks when a player makes collision with an object in the game and it stops the player from moving and resets the scene completely. Now let's talk about how it does that. Well, it stops the movement by first making a declaration that involves the movement script right here. Now that we've referenced the movement script, once as we move down our code, we can say that that script is now false causing it to stop being applied to the player. So we choose to make it false when it collides. When it collides with what? The enemy, but we also want the same thing to happen when it collides with the finish line. So when it collides with the finish line, we have it do that as well. And then we also have our movement script. Here is the forces that make the car go forward, the forces that make the car move left to right. So here we can see, and it also has the script for when our player falls off of the edge of the street to respawn back where the level began at. So here we have the public rigid body that we declared, and this is what our player rigid body is. We also have the force being applied, making it go forward, which is the public float forward force. We also have the force being applied when the car is turning, which is the public float side. We reference both of these down here within our scripts. So within our fix update, we first apply the force that is pushing the car forward. This is going to make the car move no matter what. Then we have our left and right steering. So if the gear axis raw horizontal, which means the left or right key or the A and D key, if it is less than 0, which means if the left arrow or the A key is being pressed, then the car will move to the left. And that will happen in vice versa. If the right arrow or the D key is being pressed, the car will move to the right. And this last bit right here is if the car falls off the edge, it will restart the game. So now we've been seeing the same script right here over and over again. It's time to really talk about what it means. So we have the find object of type game manager because the in-game is script is embedded within our game manager script. So we first call the game manager script and then we reference the in-game script within that script. So here we reference the in-game code within that script. I'm so sorry about that. That could be slightly confusing. So here we have the game manager script. And then the game manager script has a bool which says the game has ended, which tells our code to restart the scene. We set this to false initially because we want the game to run normally. This check right here checks that if the game has ended equals false, we'll be checking for if anything is changing it to true. Now we can go back, falling off the edge changes it to true, as well as collision with the finish line or the enemy. They both change it from being false to true because it activates this in-game function. We also have the restart function, which simply restarts the scene. We'll also need to have the using Unity scene management so we can reset our scene. And it's also useful if we have a game where we move from level to level. The last thing I would like to show you guys is just how to change the lighting within the scene. So we have our scene, and the player, if we go into the game view, the player can see everything that's in front of them. So in order to change this, what we want to do is go to our directional light, and we want to first go to window, then we'll go to rendering, and then we'll go to lighting. We'll grab this, and then we'll just set it over here in our inspector for now so it's easy to look at and we can still view our scene. So then after that, we're going to want to go to our environment in the lighting tab, and then we'll go to this and we'll press fog on. Here I have it on linear. It could be on exponential or exponential squared. Either way it goes, you can change the density by sliding this left and right. You can change the density of the fog, whether that be in linear or whatever it be. You start at one place and then you end at another place, and that's just kind of how it works. You just move these sliders around, whatever settings you're using, making it work with those, and then that's how you get the fog within the game. Now that I showed you guys what to do, it's time. It's no more speaking for me. It is time for you guys to get in there and go do it. I gave you all the tools that you could possibly use. I showed you the assets I had. I showed you my code, and I showed you how to make the fog in the scene. There is literally nothing else that I have left to show you. It is simply up to you guys to go out and create a project. Go out, create something fun, create something nice, and just have fun. Enjoy yourself. You guys might run into several errors as you're building on your own, but that's natural and that's all a part of the learning process. As you continue to grow as a developer, you're going to continue to understand what this error means and what this error means and how to fix it. It's all part of the learning process. Just embrace it. I know you guys got it. I hope you guys have a good one.